these niggas have motion except for me. There has to be one real nigga left in America, in this damn country.
Sharia law starts now. Absolutely. Zohran Mamdani, Islamic Caliphate, our brother in Islam, Islamic Caliphate of New York, starts today, baby.
God, there is just something so electric, so satisfying about knowing that my MAGA parents, wherever they are probably having a horrible night tonight. Oh, I literally just got goosebumps thinking about it. Like they are in such a bad mood probably about the fact that Zoran just won and Prop 50 is gonna pass. Like, wow. God, I'm sorry. It just makes me feel good that my MAGA parents are probably upset right now.
When the day starts with Dick Cheney being dead, it ends with Mamdani winning. Oh, yes. Oh, I'm so happy. Oh my God, I'm so happy.
So if you haven't heard already, Zohran Mamdani, the international, I'm not sure, where is he? Indian? Is he Ugandan? Is he South American? I'm not sure. I mean, South African. I'm not sure what his ethnicity truly is, but he's won the vote in New York City, and we got to talk about it.
You know, I have a lot of people asking me, Nico, you don't think that at least Mamdani's victory is an important and symbolic victory to achieve the change that we seek? And my answer to them is, hell no. See, people seem to forget the last time we had some type of major symbolic victory, we got Obama. And Obama bombed 7 countries and brought open market slavery back to Libya as the first black president, ironically, of African descent. And much of the crimes that Obama committed were hidden under that symbolic victory that some 90% of black people gave him because we wanted representation. Okay, but people didn't learn from that instance, and so then we got AOC, who has done absolutely nothing, has promised to advocate for things like universal health care and then walks it back when it's convenient for her, and then promises to be anti-war until once again Joe Biden or a Democrat gets in power and it's inconvenient to talk about, and now she's running for president. Like, it is a guarantee that that symbolic victory that everyone was so happy about is about to can her a chance to be the president after achieving absolutely nothing, symbolically speaking. And even as far as the pro-Palestine movement is concerned, yeah, Mamdani does not support apartheid. Congratulations that you don't agree with stripping people of their bare minimum human rights. But what does that mean in the context of New York when you were talking about putting together an anti-Semitism task force? What does it mean to the people of New York when you're accepting money from the very billionaires who are helping to fund and finance the genocide happening in Palestine? Symbolic victories do not put food on people's tables. Symbolic victories without the courage of convictions does not yield substantive policy change. And it damn sure doesn't yield some socialist revolution in any state the way that y'all seem to believe it will. In fact, what we've seen throughout recent history is that symbolic victories without any conviction can actually be more dangerous than courageous losses from people who stand by the courage of their convictions. So no, I'm not a fucking liberal or like Donald Trump who just wants a win. No, I want a win on behalf of the people that's actually going to mean something, not a symbolic victory.
I wonder if septum ring theory holds true for men as well. If you didn't notice, there is a giant septum ring there. You see that thing there? You see that? That is a gigantic septum ring. I'm distracted. I'm sorry. But obviously, Zoran Mamdani is on the left. It's debatable as to how far left he is, but he's on the left. And even people on the left aren't exactly thrilled about Mamdani winning, but I guess they'll take their wins as they can get them.
Whether you are an immigrant, a member of the trans community, one of the many black women that Donald Trump has fired from a federal job, a single mom still waiting for the cost of groceries to go down.
I made a post talking about how black men are usually left out of speeches by Democratic politicians. And I got this comment, and this is like a popular sentiment. This person is saying that basically the reason black men are left out of the conversation and black women are mentioned when it comes to voting in politics is because black men don't align closely enough with black women's vote in order for black people to be mentioned. And this is just a flat out lie. If we look at the 2024 election results, outside of Asians who make up a much smaller sample size of voters in the United States, black men are the most progressive and align their votes with the women in the black community more than any other race of men does with their community. Particularly, white men and white women have a huge gap in gender with how they vote. And Latinos, it's on and off, but in 2024, the men voted much differently than the women. And then to make all of this even crazier, right? Because we just have these preconceived notions about black men. I'm going to show you something. These are the results from the New York governor's race last night. And according to these results, black men are actually voting more progressive than black women in New York.
You know, let's pause this right here for a minute. This is total non sequitur. This is not really a subject of the video tonight, but I have to mention, as I've talked about at length way too many times now, black men, if you're voting along with your women, you can't claim to be leading them. They are leading you. It is a very natural thing. The majority of women around the world are liberal in one way or another. They are on the political left in one way or another. And so it doesn't really, it's not controversial that women are left leaning. But for black men to uniquely be the group of men that votes lock and step with their women, it kind of symbolizes, it signifies that you do not lead. They lead you and you follow. And he's pointing out that black men followed black women in voting for Mamdani.
And it's not even just a little bit. It's almost 10%. That's by 8%. Yet Zoran Mamdani didn't even mention black men in his victory speech. He specifically mentioned black women. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, why do Democrats do that? You know, when they mention any other race, ethnic group, or religion, they just mention the entire group. They mention Muslims, they mention immigrants, they mention Latinos. But when it comes to black people, for some reason, it goes straight to black women, despite black people being the most progressive group, but then black men also being the most progressive male group in America. I don't know, it just baffles me.
Baffling, quite baffling indeed. And honestly, the only black men who can really be considered not holding the line for the left-wing vote are the openly right-wing Republican black men.
When you put in communist and yes, communist policies, that's what Zoran Mamdani is talking about.
He's not a communist.
It
He's a
never
democratic
works.
socialist. He says he's
I can't tell what the difference is.
Well, he can describe
Explain what the difference is.
He can describe the differences for you. The socialism is not the same basis of communism in this country. You know that quite
The
well.
man wants to create government-run grocery stores. He wants free transportation, both of which are impossible to do. Because how
that
is
communism is a trigger word to try to undermine all of his policies. He's not he says he doesn't.
I don't need to undermine his policies. His policies undermine himself.
Well,
because they've never
that.
worked. Here's all I want him to do. Tell me where they've ever worked. They've never worked. He knows that. I knows that. But what he's trying to do is promise everybody something that they can't have. And the truth is there is no free lunch, just like there's no free bus. Because you know what happens when you have a free bus? There's nobody there to fix it or to drive it. He knows that. I know that. You know that. America does know it. And it's unfortunate that the city of New York, my former home city, is probably going to have to go through this.
It's very telling that you have Byron Donalds across from a black woman attempting to explain reality, and she's just unwilling to listen. Very symbolic of how things are technically.
All right, niggas. So guess what? We got a new elected mayor, Zohan, whatever his fucking name is, that meatball. I'm not gonna wish you congratulations, by the way. I thought your speech yesterday was bullshit. I didn't appreciate your motherfucking speech yesterday. Okay? You bigging up everybody, talking about immigrants built America. What about the people that was already here? What about the black American descendants that helped build this country, that made it possible for everybody to come here? You just gonna forget about us? Huh? I don't appreciate that. You gonna forget about us, nigga? The fuck?
You see how quickly you get forgotten about? He hasn't actually sat down in the office. Like, he's in office, but he hasn't actually been in the office yet, and he forgot you already.
You know you better pick up that phone when I got tea. Listen, New York City, you did it. You elected Mamdani to be your new mayor. Well, did you know that he was backed by Alex Soros, son of billionaire George Soros? And both of them are millionaires, like father, like son. But anyway, that's just a little tidbit of information. Listen, I am almost excited to watch your mouth drop when you realize that the same hand that feeds you is the same hand that will starve you when they want dominance and control. Kind of like the shutdown of the government when they admitted they used you as leverage. Anyway, listen, Mamdani last night after he won, he said, I speak of Yemeni bodega owners and Mexican abuelas, Senegalese taxi drivers and Uzbek nurses, Trinidadian line cooks and Ethiopian aunties. Yes, I said aunties. I was looking for when he said Americans, but I can't find it. But anyway, I want to give you the rules because, you know, you're going to be moving down south after you find out that socialism is going to fail like it has for centuries. So let me give you the rules about down here. Number one, respect. Southerners really like the Second Amendment, okay? Don't come down here rude and disrespectful, because not only do we like the Second Amendment, but we also talk with our hands. And I don't mean sign language. Okay, number two, don't come down here yelling out where you're from like that's gonna scare somebody. You know, I'm from Queens, I'm from Brooklyn, I'm from Bronx. We don't care nothing about that, baby. You start yelling out where you from, we finna show your ass where you at. All right? Number three, aggressiveness is not necessary here. We really cool, we laid back people, so we take that as disrespect. We Southerners do. And we don't ask questions. All right? When you get all aggressive, we're not gonna ask you no questions. We just gonna do what we need to do. The only people that ask questions down here are cops and coroners. All right? So understand that. Last but not least, the South is the home and the origin of YNs and rednecks. And don't you think for 1 minute that they won't hesitate to unite like Voltron and get your ass up out of here. Also, honorable mention, people like me, my age and stuff, both sets of those, the YNs and the rednecks, they consider us auntie. So you don't want to disrespect us either, because they don't play about us. All right, those are the quick rules. That's the quick rundown, because once you are out of food, water, and shelter up there, you're going to have to find somewhere to get it. So you can come down here, but just remember them rules, all right? All right, I'll talk to y'all later. I love y'all. God bless you. God bless America. God bless Donald John Quavius Trump. doing an awesome job. I'll talk to y'all later. Call you back. Bye. Love you.
New York, y'all voted for free over freedom, and I'm afraid that y'all just officially turned New York City into Gotham City. What's so crazy to me is the fact that after 9/11, we kept saying that we would never forget, and all of a sudden this man comes from out of nowhere and everybody gets amnesia. Make it make sense. This is literally this man's first job, and y'all think that he can run a city as great as New York? Not happening. All I'm gonna say is, rest in peace, New York. After voting for Mamdani last night, y'all fuck around and find out, Aaron, and y'all definitely about to find out. In my opinion, when he made that speech last night, he was very angry. He was very defiant. He was very vengeful. You can't tell me that it is about the people. This thing is more personal. And let me just say this too. A lot of y'all voted for him because y'all heard the word free, but many of y'all voted for him because that man is anti-Trump, and a lot of y'all are anti-Trump. Y'all don't believe that he's going to do the things that he said he's going to do because he can't. Come on now. But hey, if y'all like
Mamdani won yesterday because the education system failed my generation. 75% of voters under the age of 30 supported Mamdani. And there are essentially two types of people in this group. First, there are the people who actually hate America and want to destroy it. You know, the ones they're chanting globalize the Intifada, want to assassinate everyone who makes more money than them, and think it's a tragedy that the Soviet Union collapsed. Then there's another group of people, probably the majority of people, who see that there are legitimate issues with New York City, but the education system has failed them so miserably that they have no idea how to fix it. Like, yes, New York City is extremely expensive, and government policy is largely what has made it that way. So of course, someone who comes in and says, well, everything's just going to be free, sounds great to people who are rightfully concerned about prices but don't know anything about economics or history. But government-controlled rent, grocery stores, and healthcare are not going to make these issues better. Because once the rich people that the Mamdani voters hate so much either leave the city completely or run out of money for the government to take, they're going to first have to deal with lower quality of services and then shortages. And this is all so frustrating for those of us who have either read a book about this stuff or who are even just paying attention to what's happening in, say, our own country in like California, or who are paying attention to other countries that have gone down this path, like Venezuela or Cuba. But what's most concerning to me isn't necessarily the economic issues, even though those are going to be an issue. The bigger concern for me is the growing number of people who know what socialism is and know what it leads to, but they want it for America because they hate America and want to destroy it. And the ignorant majority is giving them what they want. Because it's not just the economy that politicians have access to, they also have access to the education system and law enforcement. And with access to these parts of our society, they can intentionally make things worse and then point to things getting worse and say, look, the American project was always doomed to fail. Mamdani is the product of a cycle where people who want America and the West destroyed are creating an environment where they can easily manipulate the ignorant majority into supporting these policies that are going to actively destroy the country. Remember that desperate people are extremely easy to manipulate. People should fear socialism the same way that they fear Nazism, and the fact that they don't shows how far the brain rot goes. The only way to beat this is to start by arming people with facts. If we can't turn this around, and turn this around soon, the country will start to look like the Soviet Union, or maybe even something worse.
So there are obviously mixed reviews in Black America. You know, the mainstream of Black America support them to one degree or another, but still a little bit unhappy about things. Whereas the right-leaning Black folk, they're just pretty much like, look, you're going to get what you deserve.
Keep your ass where it's at. That's my message, a simple one to every New Yorker who voted for Zohran Mamdani, because I know that when the going gets tough, y'all love to get going to Florida, to Georgia, to Tennessee, anywhere even to escape the consequences of your own actions. But as a son of the South, let me be real clear. The South is not a political refugee camp. It never was supposed to be. You wrecked your cities, you voted for people who will turn the greatest city on earth, not Tuscaloosa this time, but New York, into a crime-ridden, lawless, overpriced dumpster fire. And now you want to come down here and start over? Nah, you can go to hell. Y'all voted for Zohran Mamdani and every other socialist lunatic who thinks that hard work is oppression and gender is suggestion. And you undoubtedly will be shocked when your rent costs more than your degree. But that won't be oppression, sweetheart. That will simply be what you voted for. The consequences of your own actions, if you will. You will have built a world where criminals walk free. Cops are the enemy, and middle-class families can't even afford to exist. And then you'll want to move to Tennessee and try something new. You know what that something new is called? Conservatism. The same thing you spent years mocking. That is what you will flee to. Down here, though, we believe in freedom, family, and faith, not government control, moral confusion, and $15 oat milk. We don't need people who hate America moving to the heart of it and trying to fix what was never broken. We'll pass on that. You destroyed your cities, and now you want to colonize, which I thought y'all were against, the South with your failed ideology like parasites. I think the hell not. Listen, if you're one of those New York Republicans or independents who want safety, sanity, and affordable gas, fine, come on down. But if you're bringing your bad ideas, blue state baggage, and Starbucks name tag that prominently displays your preferred pronouns, you can stay the hell where you're at.
You know what? Also, it's, I think, a bit ironic that Zohran Mamdani was seen with his all-female transition team. And he immediately started begging, which is double hilarious. But also, I don't really notice black women there.
Well, thank you for the question. It's transition2025.com. And, you know, there were a few months ago where I told supporters across this city to stop donating. And today I am asking them to start once again. And I am asking them to do so because of the fact that a transition that can meet the moment of preparing for January 1st is one that will require staff, it will require research, it will require infrastructure. And those are things that we will have to provide. And I'm excited for the fact that it will be funded by the very people who brought us to this point, the working people who have been left behind by the politics of the city.
He didn't even start day one, really. Well, technically, it is day one, and he already needs your money. And to round this whole thing off, let me show you Stephen A. Smith for the last video of the day.
I'm going to tell you why I'm not happy about it. I like Mamdani. I'm looking forward to interviewing him. He's promised to be on this show. But I'm very, very concerned about some of the things that he said. I'm very concerned about what he once said about defunding the police. I'm calling 911. I'm being real with you. I'm calling 911. That's what I'm doing. I don't want to see less police officers. I want to see more police officers. I heard him talk about mental health experts in the subway system. I don't care about that. I want cops in the subways in New York City, where I was born and raised. Born in the Bronx, raised in Queens. That's what I want. I want to hear about no damn mental health experts in subways. Nah, I'm not trying to hear that, okay? 2% tax on the rich. Okay, fine. 11.5% capital gains tax.
I don't think a mayor can tax the rich. I'm pretty sure taxes happen at the state level. So I'm not sure if he can even come through with that promise, though, but that is his promise.
On its face, okay, fine. Free buses? Free grocery stores in each borough? Really? Really think that's going to work? Ladies and gentlemen, we're at a crossroads in this nation. And there's no way to slice it. And the level of vitriol that you see amongst the American citizen is because, God forbid, that you have a difference of opinion. It's not enough to agree. You know, people have to be disagreeable. And you have to be selfish if you're a person that's rich, that's making money, and you don't want to pay your fair share of taxes. Well, when you think about the billionaires in the state, in the city of New York, they make up about 48% in terms of the amount of taxes that they dole out compared to the average American, compared to the rest of New Yorkers. And if you're talking about raising their taxes while doing these other things, you're making New York unattractive, not just for residents, but for businesses. And if you make it unattractive for businesses and you compromise the ability to be the capitalists that these people are, then they take their businesses elsewhere.
Simply put, stealing from the productive and then showering that money onto the unproductive while, pocketing some of that for yourself as well, it will not raise the productivity. It will crash whatever productivity you currently have.
So the money that they paid on their homes or in rent, they move out of the city or the state. Businesses follow. And ultimately the tax burden falls on to New Yorkers out there, which means that rent freezes, which is also something that Mamdani pushed. Is that really going to be plausible? Are you really going to be able to freeze rent? Or are you going to end up hiking it? Because you don't have enough people here to pay it. Tax revenue, where you getting that from? See, these are all the kind of things that we have to connect the dots and ask ourselves, 1 + 1, does it equal 2? Is it really plausible that these things are going to happen? According to Mayor Hochul, 90% of the stuff Mamdani said he can't do on his own. He got to come through her and the state legislature in order to get it done. Is he going to be able to do that? What level of support is he going to have outside of young whippersnappers out there who love him and are so in love with his personality and everything else that they didn't really dot the I's and cross the T's and look at actual policies and the kind of effect that's going to have on New Yorkers? That's what I'm worried about. I hope I'm wrong. Because talking to him, I liked him. I'm looking forward to sitting down and interviewing with him. I just want to know where the money coming from. See, I count. Okay? I count. And I can't tell you how many young teenagers, it could be daughters, it could be nieces and nephews, it could be friends and family members or relatives of folks along that age gap. And you're asking the same question. And you know what you come up with? The people who love Mamdani the most,
people who don't make money have infinite plans on how to spend the money that other people have made. And that is the dream that Mamdani is selling. And this is why Stephen A. Smith is soberly and logically focused on the money, because he is one of the people that make money.
are not people who pay bills every day. I'm not saying that applies to everybody. I'm not applying that. But they certainly not people that pay bills every day all the time. You don't see business owners clamoring to support them. I'm just saying these things are important to bring up.
So there it is. Zohran Mamdani is the new mayor of New York City. I am glad I don't live there right now, but you know, I do visit quite often. I don't always enjoy it. I suspect I will enjoy it a little bit less now, but we'll see. We'll see. You got to keep your fingers crossed. But good luck to you all. Do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe. If you enjoy what we do over here on this channel, please feel free to join the membership. And we also do accept donations.
Somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one.